Hey guys, welcome to our video where we talk about gun control. So today we'll be talking about some facts and some myths that we're going to dispel today. So we're not going to get into the deeper underlying moral, psychological issue. We're just going to talk about some quick, fast-paced facts people often use. So as you can see, we'll be talking about, again, gun control. If you just look at this meme, this is going to capture the essence of this video. So first, I'm going to list off 4 points we'll be talking about today. So gun-free zones, gun statistics that people often use to dispel gun control, gun ownership rates and lower crime, and lastly, a myth about the types of weapons used in these situations. So first, we can look at gun-free zones. So the sad irony of gun-free zones is that 98% of all mass shootings occur in a quote-unquote gun-free zone. That's like a really sad irony. And we can see this in this statistic listed in this Daily Wire article, according to the Crime Prevention Research Center. So if you look here, only 1% of public mass shootings happen in places that are not considered to be gun-free zones. And if you look at this message in italics, 98% of mass shootings have occur in gun-free zones. So you can see that when politicians and anti-gun lobbies talk about gun control and gun-free zones are making citizens and our children safe, in reality, it's only endangered children more and actually painted a bigger target on their backs. And you can see in the statistic, 98%. That's like an A, or that's like whatever. That's 98%. That's a lot. So next, we can talk about gun ownership and gun ownership acting as a deterrent. So you've heard this talking point among people on the right in a attempt to contest the idea that guns are dangerous. Rather, guns actually save lives. And this is actually a substantiated claim demonstrated in a CDC research article that Obama actually sponsored in 2012. So again, the major point we're going to take out of this research is that self-defense can be an important crime deterrent, according to the CDC. Furthermore, we can see that guns are used in self-defense about 500,000 to more than 3 million per year. Now that's a very, very wide-ranging statistic, but the reason it's like this is that some cases aren't reported because they're deterred before they happen. So the next thing we're going to move on to are gun statistics, and gun statistics used by the media. So I'm pretty sure you've all heard of Vox. Vox is a notorious liberal organization, and they're used to attacking and combating gun control with these quote-unquote facts. So now I'd like to turn your attention to another article I've looked at. Now this is from Forbes. Forbes isn't really famously known to be conservative, so you can be assured that there's not a lot of bias here. So basically, we're not going to spend that much time here due to video constraints, but essentially the summary of this entire Vox article, which I'll post in the description, is that the gun violence statistics people are using are either antiquated, old, don't take into account population size, are skewered, or seriously flawed. And this article goes in depth to explain the very, very big problems with the gun statistics people are using to quote-unquote disprove or support gun control. So the next thing we're going to talk about are gun ownership rates and lower crime. So we can look at this article here with the Western Journal, and we can see here that it says Ben Shapiro is talking about how gun ownership and correlated with higher violent crime rate in the United States is actually converse. The more guns you have, the less crime there is. So you probably won't take Ben Shapiro's word for it if you're on the other side, but take the FBI statistics into consideration. So let's look at this. Violent crime declined 3.3% between 2017 and 2018. And if you look at the statistic in 2018, there were about 1.2 million violent crimes. And if you look at this chart here, starting from 1993, there have been 1.9 violent crimes in total, right? And statistics show that gun ownership has actually been increasing, and especially now due to the coronavirus crap, gun rates and legal gun ownership has spiked in the past couple of years. And the problem with this is that gun lobbyists are talking about how violence is increasing, how it's a danger to our children, and how it's going to bring the doom of America. I might be exaggerating, but that's the gist of it, right? Well, the problem is, with a higher rate of guns, we don't see this inevitable doom those lobbyists talk about. We actually see decreased rates of violent crime. So people like Ben Shapiro could argue that circumstantially this influx of gun ownership and lowering of violent crime could be causation, but at the very least, even if you don't agree, you could at least say that guns and violent crime probably have nothing to do with each other. One doesn't really um, lead to a serious increase in the other. So before we get on to the last myth about AR-15s, assault rifles, and all this, I'd like to show you a Pew Research article. And as you know, Pew Research is a think tank, independent. It's nonpartisan, so most of their stats would probably be reliable and non-skewered. So what most people on the left or the anti-gun lobbyists don't know is that 60% of these uh, quote unquote gun violence statistics come from suicide. So these are people that are using the guns on themselves. These aren't gun owners going out and shooting people. These are gun owners going out and killing themselves. As morbid as it sounds, that's proved in this Pew Research Center article done in conjunction with the CDC, or Center for Disease Control. And this is actually somewhat of a big irony because a lot of people on the left, or people with this agenda of gun control, actually support suicide, right? They would like to give people the quote unquote right to end their own lives. And that's an interesting irony because the very thing they're trying to ban, which is guns, actually predominantly the violence due to guns is actually from suicide. So that's one factor to probably consider. It's not people going out and committing mass shootings and mass killings of innocent people. It's people ending their own lives with their own weapons. And the last thing we'd like to talk about today, the last myth, is the myth of the AR-15. Everyone's like, oh, AR-15s are evil. AR-15s suck. People are dying. They're extremely powerful. They're military-grade automatic weapons. The world is going to end. That's another exaggeration. And as you can see in this beautiful, beautiful meme that's very accurate to statistics, this is how many people consider the AR-15 dangerous and very, very, very predominant. But again, the Pew Research article just demonstrates that rifles of the AR-15's kind, specifically semi-automatic rifles, AR-15, I repeat, is not automatic, it's semi-auto. Most of these are actually from pistols, and I'm going to show you the statistics for that later. Pistols are handguns, right? And I'll show you the statistic here. Sorry. Yeah. So again, if you look here in 2017, handguns were involved in the majority, 64% of the 10,000 U.S. gun murders. And rifles like the AR-15 rifles, semi-automatic rifles specifically, only account for 4%. And the flaws are referred to as assault weapons, but in reality, they're just semi-automatic rifles with a specific caliber. And if you think shotguns are dangerous and do a lot of physical damage, well, they only account for about 2%. So these are a lot of misconceptions or ideas that we've debunked with facts, and I'd like to turn this over to Noah now. So what do you think is our solution to this?
So you have talked a lot about this gun violence and how all these misconceptions happen, but doesn't it make more sense just give the freedom to the people? It makes sense to just use anarchy.
I'm in love with it. So what's your solution to this?
Yeah, so my solution will be covering only in the mass genocidal shooting realm, because that's the realm that we can speak about this solution, that this solution will be the most effective in. So basically, we should make guns accessible instead of may issue, and it will be shall issue. So this means that if somebody rightfully wants to get a gun, they can go through the necessary background checks and get the gun without any extra hassle. We can see this has worked in states such as Montana and in Vermont, and even Vermont, you could just get a gun without even having to go to any authority, and they have even less genocidal
Per capita, because they have a
than
smaller
other states.
population. Per capita, yeah.
Well, per capita. So even scale, it seems to be working better in those states. So we can see that the shall issue law will be very helpful in
Also, as a
the
heads
realm
up,
of
this is a
genocidal
BB
shootings.
gun. Okay, just chill. Okay. Anyways, to add on to my friend's statement here, these statistics aren't coming from some like right-wing NRA like statistics. This is from the FBI, right? The FBI is in charge of these things, and they keep statistics on it. And so far, the statistics don't lie. The statistics support my friend's point. So, thanks for watching, everyone. That was an interesting video. We talked about 5 problems and maybe one proposed solution. I would encourage you to check out the Forbes article about misused, misrepresented, and inaccurate gun statistics used by the media. I'll list the link in the description. And also, check out if you still don't understand what my partner said, check out this idea of a shall issue warrant instead of a can issue. Just check it out. It's an interesting policy, and I believe it's going to work if we implement it all over the states. So, again, guys, thanks for watching, and please subscribe for more political content like this.